Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of Bloody Good Horror. My name is Eric, and I'll be your host for this evening, where we will be reviewing Willy's Wonderland, because we just spent a month doing some very academic movies, talking about them very academically, and now we're going to talk about what this is. This is Nic Cage doing Five Nights at Freddy's, so get ready for old people to talk about kid video games, I guess, as part of tonight's discussion. Joining me, first up, the lead singer of Puddle of Mud. You may also know him as John Schnars. Please welcome John.
Yo!
This look.
I don't know what the Puddle of Mud guy says. Does he have a saying, Joe? Is there a saying I should work on?
It's not right. It's not like Fred Durst where it's like, yeah.
Yeah, he says swiggity swag, John. He's saying that every week.
Hold up. If we're going to talk about young people, have you realized that Fred Durst is on TikTok, which is amazing?
Yeah. Very not a young person. He's older
Joe,
than us.
you're on mute. I assume you were telling us awesome
Right,
stories
but
about
TikTok
Fred
is a
Durst.
young person
Yes.
platform.
That's right, it is. That's why I am on TikTok.
Unless
as well,
you're... Oh, that's right. We do have to talk about that. Anyway, next up,
Oh, Lord.
speaking of TikTok, our social media guy, because he likes the attention. Please welcome Joe.
Oh, hey. Hi, everybody.
Got a new mic
I think-
arm.
I think trust. I think just screaming trust, John, is what
Trust!
I mean,
Trust!
really, you should just pull out some of your own catchphrases like preach, because I think they actually go pretty well with this look.
Yeah. I was trying to think, what does Poochie say? Poochie is, you know, it's got a couple
Oh,
of-
shit.
There's a
You
bunch of
do look like
taglines.
Poochie. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
I love
Next up tonight, that's a timely reference. Next up tonight on the show from Indiana, please welcome Casey.
Hello.
And last up tonight, coming to us from Babyland, Georgia, please welcome Cece to the show.
Hey, good to be here, reporting live. Babyland General,
Yes.
Cabbage Patch Kids galore.
Shanars, I'm jealous of Cece and Joe here with these ring lights. So Joe
Mhm.
ordered me one.
I guess I need one. You all were giving me
you
a hard time
do
about my
because
lighting.
I want to get up in that facial hair situation and kind of check it out a little more.
It could break the whole thing open.
You're
you know?
really
It could-
backlit now, which is not great. You know?
Well, it's like top lit. I don't know.
Well, you're
You
in
look
like
like
a.
fucking shit, John.
I also don't really get this like
Yeah.
creepy horror movie angle that you put your camera at. Like, I do not understand where your camera is right now.
It's a laptop that's sitting on a desk. Like I don't know. My wife uses a box because she doesn't like the camera to
Right.
be like.
It's up your face.
I don't care.
Yeah.
You guys can deal.
Ooh.
This is for the fans.
Is it?
Understand
Is it,
those
John?
like the angle. You don't want to be looking at this. You know, you gotta like
Yeah.
I
yeah.
work my chin.
If
every
I
day.
Oh,
if I
okay.
never have to look at myself
work.
on video again after this, it will be too soon. Joe, speaking of the pandemic and 2021 and our mental states, please tell us what we are drinking tonight.
Beer guts.
Willy's Wonderland, a heartwarming little tale about birthdays gone wrong in a Chuck E. Cheese-like setting, and what happens when the cake runs out, John, and the terror begins. And in honor of anniversaries and birthdays and all happy events, I picked a beer from Congregation Ale House, which is out in Pasadena, California, John. And this beer is their Matt Denny's 15th anniversary ESB. And this beer, it was like a one-off that they did. Full disclosure, John, I had another beer picked, and then I randomly checked to see if I've used it before and found out as we were hitting record. So it was a bit of an audible. But this one is a great beer. I had it a couple years ago. Full disclosure, you're not going to be able to find it, but every year they do put out another version of this. Not always an ESB, but I've kind of looked at their setup and they rotate it around. ESB, extra special bitter, that stands for, which is a little misleading because it's more on the malty side, but there is, a decent amount of hops, but really the malt kind of takes the forefront here. So a lot of like toasted biscuit and that sort of bready flavor. Very delicious, very good this time of year when the winter months are still cold, but it's starting to spring up a little bit. So I am a big fan. This one comes in at 6.8% alcohol, so a little higher than what you normally get. They actually label this as a strong bitter, which I'm not 100% sure what that means, but I just assume the alcohol being higher. So, you know, Congregation Ale House, it's a local brew pub out in the Pasadena area. I think there's like 2 or 3 of them actually. So if you get the chance, definitely check them out. The missus and I went a couple years back and thoroughly enjoyed ourselves. Website is congregationalehouse.com. That's on the internet. And yeah, they're wonderful people.
Love it. Thank you, Joe.
Thank
All
you.
right, it is time, guys. Let's do it. Let's take a break and then discuss Willy's Wonderland.
This is it, Senator. Your big break in TV. Stop the prime time. Main feature.
John Schnars.
Eric.
Kind of bugs me that Wonderland's like one word.
Sorry.
Doesn't have to be.
Well, in the title of it, I mean, I assume that's how it's spelled in most ways, but I don't like it.
I mean,
I think it is a proper English word.
Yeah.
That's not my word of the day. I
on
should have gone with that.
the list of things wrong with this movie. I think the
fair.
title is pretty low.
John, please bring us the word of the day. Sorry, I'm a little fried for proper segues tonight, John, but here we are.
We'll give you this one. Don't worry. You know, today's word, Eric, animatronics.
Ooh.
The technique of making and operating lifelike robots, typically for use in film and other entertainment. I mean, I think everyone knows what animatronics are. This is one of those words that, you know, I might have been scrounging at the last minute here.
No, I like it.
Well, I was also interested.
The people who made this would have done well to look up what animatronics are.
I was interested.
Can you imagine watching this? Like, what's happening?
Because it's not people in suits. That's not what that is.
The
And they're not robots either. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You're really you
I'm
are
so
excited to
fired
get
up.
to this. I was interested to see the etymology, or sort of the first time it was used. It's not exactly clear. I was curious too if it was on the Wikipedia under etymology. They have this whole section about Walt Disney developing the term audio animatronics, but the first use that they list in the timeline is actually 1939. So Disney did not invent them, but they went real hard at it in the 60s. And it turns out, maybe Joe knew this, but Mary Poppins is the first film to feature an animatronic animal. It was one of the birds that she's.
The cane that she has, or the umbrella handle.
I'm sure I brought this up a lot on the show, but there's a really amazing documentary, John, that can offer some ancillary material to this movie called The Rock-afire Explosion, which is like a really bootleg, amazingly depressing and fascinating documentary about a small group of people who are obsessed with the animatronic band from Showbiz Pizza in the 80s and the 90s, to the point where they have collected their own like saved versions of this band and built their own stages and have them like in their houses and in like warehouses and stuff. It is as depressing as you think, and it's fascinating. Like, and they go and find the dude who designed all these things and like invented them, and deep dive on the mechanics of how it works. Like, it's
there's and I can't, maybe we've talked about it in the past, but there's a podcast called Decoder Ring that I really like, that I think Slate puts out, but it's monthly, so it's sort of like
it's a really good show. Yeah.
Well, they have an episode about this guy. I think it's the same guy you're talking about.
His name is Aaron Fechter, I think.
Well, he co-founded Chuck E. Cheese. I can't remember the exact order, but he co-founded Chuck E. Cheese, and then there was like a dispute, and so then he went and co-founded basically a copycat version of the same.
So this guy, this guy in the documentary was not an owner. He literally was hired by Showbiz Pizza because he did this kind of work. Like, he made animatronics. People should watch it. It's not. You can find it on YouTube for free. It's. Amazing.
Is it like an official documentary? Like, is it on other?
Yeah,
it was like a fan documentary.
Like
it's a real
Netflix
documentary,
or something at one point.
It's just bootleg in a way that I really enjoy.
Eric's like, let me tell you where you can get this like knockoff version of the documentary.
No, it's very good. When I say
called Amazon.
When I say bootleg, I just mean production wise.
Yeah.
Animatronic.
Well,
I like it.
I would guarantee that the people who made this movie have seen that movie or at least are aware of that movie.
You know, I love animatronics, John, because they're like steampunk robots. They're like, we don't really know how to make robots yet, but let's hook 40,000 air tubes up to this thing and just like.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know. Some of the ones that they have in Disney now, like the newer ones, are freaky as fuck because they are like legit,
Well,
look like real human
Now
beings.
they probably are robots. I
Yeah.
think I saw.
Yeah.
Wasn't there some kind of concept video, Joe, about like they were like frozen things, but straight up looked like people, and it was very they were showing.
You like Frozen the movie?
Yeah, I feel like they were just showing off technology they were developing or something like that.
I mean, they do have a Frozen ride, and yeah, the animatronics in there are because they've now started, instead of using faces on a lot of them, like they pretty much have screens that
Like
morph into like a face. So
That's
it's like
Ugh,
it's a thing.
weird.
They've got an animatronic Spider-Man that literally they launch into the air, and he does like flips in the air and stuff, and will like land. They're gonna take over the world.
You know what ride I like, Joe?
Mm.
The Twister ride at Universal Studios in Florida.
Oh,
When the cow
it's-
flies by.
I don't know if you call it so much as a ride. It's
You
just
just
something you
stand
go
there.
and stand in and look at. And then,
100%.
is that still there, you think? I don't
I
think
have
it is.
absolutely no idea. I was like, it was a good, I don't know, 13, 14 years ago when I went there. John, tell me about Willy's Wonderland, please.
Willy's Wonderland comes to us from director Kevin Lewis. I was mentioning to you all earlier today. I did a little recon on Kevin Lewis's IMDb. He's made a couple of other films, nothing that I was familiar with. One movie I was interested to be familiar with called Malibu Spring Break, featuring I think it's a Playboy movie. It's sort of like a little unclear. The word Playboy and the bunny are on the cover, but it's got like a playmate in it. I don't know. In any event, this is the director here. And this is a movie. There's a lot of plot, so I'm not 100% sure how I want to try to break this down. But effectively, the setup is you've got one of these Chuck E. Cheese knockoff places. This one's called Willy's Wonderland. As Joe was saying, it's sort of like a family birthday party destination. But this one, things have gone bad. We can kind of get into it as it's revealed in the film. But essentially, Nic Cage plays a silent, completely silent. It does not speak in the film. Loner. He's given no backstory. He shows up in this town out in the middle of nowhere, and is effectively tricked into having to quote unquote clean up this Willy's Wonderland because it's been it's in disrepair. It's been unused, unloved for a long time. So he goes in. And he actually starts cleaning it, and he's doing this so he can get his car back. And eventually, the Willy and his band, and they all have names. I don't have them in front of me, but we can hit some of those in a minute.
Willy. I'm pretty sure Willy is one of them.
Willy, but then there's like the gator, there's like the gorilla. They have in any event. So they all start coming to life and trying to kill Nic Cage, and he must defend himself. At one point, a group of teens comes onto the scene, and there's a story about why they're there, but I would say it's primarily to increase the body count of the movie, and then he must.
Well, there's also an enormous amount of plot that these characters need to give us.
No, well, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I'm not even covering any of that, and so. Then it's really like, will he survive defending himself from, I think there's 7 of the animatronic things. They all have different powers. They have like different archetypes kind of. It's, there's some things going on. So that's the setup. I don't know. I think we should just go into it from there.
Cool. Cece, what'd you think?
So I really enjoyed this. I didn't know what I was, I knew what I was getting into. It's a Nic Cage movie, but I was ready to just turn off and enjoy the like batshit bonkerness. And that's exactly what it was. I appreciate that. It's Nic Cage being Nic Cage as a character. He literally does not speak through the entire movie, which is kind of phenomenal. I think that in terms of Nic Cage movies, like, you've got a set yourself up for that. But you know, if you can not think about kind of how weird the plot lends it, like the plot holes that happen when you really start thinking about this movie, it's, you know, it's an interesting concept. It might have been better as like a short film, but I still really enjoyed it. And I thought that, you know, the animatronics, robots, whatever we're calling them, I was super stoked about that. Like, I think they were really cool, and I kind of wish we would have seen more of that. Like, I kind of liked how in the beginning they were introduced and they would like kind of sneak up on people. Once they got a little too animated, I was like, like parts were fine, but once the teenagers got involved, it was a little too much for me. But maybe that's just teenagers.
We should say, I should have mentioned up front, my understanding is there either was a short or there was some kind of like treatment for this that Nic Cage got his hands on.
Yeah.
And
was
he
like,
basically
cool.
comes on to produce the film.
That's
So
awesome.
his name is at like the top of the poster. Like it's like a
very
Nic
cool.
Cage joint, you know. For sure.
Nick Cage.
That would
Nick
explain the
Cage in
gratuitous. That would,
Willy's Wonderland.
guys, I'll do this, but only if there's 12 inserts of me playing pinball for like 3 to 4 minutes at a time.
Well,
And I'm not saying a fucking word.
crushing cans of what, like Crave Cola or whatever.
Like I kind of buy the idea that he was just like, you know what? Like he wanted to challenge himself by doing a role with nowhere. So like I buy that was something he wanted. I don't know why. I just
for
feel
sure.
like
Oh, totally.
Casey.
Definitely artistic choice there.
I love this movie a lot. By the end of it, it's kind of written directly for me. So to be fair, it stars Nic Cage. It's pretty cheesy. It's a B movie, fairly gory. So of course I'm already thinking I'm gonna enjoy it when I get in there. But ultimately, I did enjoy it a lot. I think it's very stylistic, the way it's shot and the way they put things together. It's not quite like Mandy levels of cool, but it does have its own distinct feel and atmosphere to it, which I really appreciate how it was put together. I think Nic Cage was great. The kids didn't bother me too much, and I thought it was fun when she got into the antics of why these creatures were there and like the backstory of the restaurant itself. I thought was pretty hilarious as that all came trickling out. So ultimately, I thought this was a good job. If I had to gripe on anything, I wish they wouldn't have relied so much on repetition for the bulk of the second act of this movie. I think that's like the biggest thing that would bring it down, and which I could see where for some of you that didn't enjoy it as much, I could see where that would be a big problem because it is kind of the same thing over and over.
Well, the repetition kind of hinders it from feeling like it's building.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, because there's not a lot of escalation from fight scene to fight scene. They're kind of just he's killing them different ways, but they're sort of the stakes always feel the same.
And by the time you get after you get like through the first 2 rounds of this, you know what's going to happen every time. His timer's going to go off. He's going to drink a soda. He's going to work on a pinball machine. He's going to throw away the soda. He's going to clean part of the room. Something's going to show up. You have a fight. And then the alarm goes off.
Yeah.
He did a remarkable amount of cleaning, given the other stuff that we also see him do.
A monster
I was gonna say,
comes
why
to
can't I clean
life.
my house like that, Jesus.
First of all, it would take you weeks to clean that place. Like just that, I could not get over this fact. Like that they're like, he's just like, yeah, just that bathroom would take days by yourself and a
A
rag.
lot of wasted cleaning too, right? Because those posters were filthy, like the actual posters. So like,
Right.
why bother cleaning?
And
the
he's-
He's
frame?
also using like a little rag.
Yes,
Yeah.
he's scrubbing like graffiti off the wall, and I'm like, just paint it with paint.
Yeah.
I know.
Joe.
So not a fan. I don't know. I full disclosure, I've kind of had enough of Nic Cage, right? Like I'm done.
Like, listen, I can understand both your and Casey's point on this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. To me, this movie veers into what was that movie that came out with Jack Black, where Colin Farrell or Colin Hanks was trying to get into college. You know what I'm talking about?
Orange County.
Orange County.
Yes,
Like,
I love
to
that
me,
movie.
But the problem I had with that was that Jack Black, I think, was kind of on his upswing, right? And they just threw him in there and said, "Go be Jack Black."
He's just
But,
doing
like,
his shtick, yeah.
Yeah, we don't know what the fuck to do anymore. And I feel like that's where this was with Nic Cage, right? Like they just put him in there and said, just be Nic Cage. And like that'll sell us enough for us, right? Like, I don't know. The no speaking thing was kind of an interesting choice, but I just felt like we never really got anywhere, right? Like we kind of talked about the repetition, which really didn't bother me as much as like just watching Nic Cage clean and then fight for some apparent reason. Like it took us, the movie's only an hour and 28 minutes. And I want to say like 40 minutes in, we finally get like a little bit of an info dump as to like what the hell is going on here. Other than that, we're just expected to like dive in and all right, he's fighting robots.
Although I would rather just watch him fight robots. I didn't need the backstory.
Well, I actually I thought they might not do any backstory at all.
I thought
because
so
I was
too.
like, that's actually like a real insane.
This
choice.
movie-
I really thought like that would be kind of funny, right?
It
Like we just
doesn't-
got zero.
It doesn't need it. That's
Yeah,
kind
it
of.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is my.
Like,
Yeah, go ahead, Joe. I'm sorry.
No, and I'll say actually the teenagers are, I don't know how old these people really are. I actually found them to be kind of the most enjoyable. Like
Really?
I would have been perfectly fine with just a group of kids thrown into this place and like body count,
There's
right?
approximately one thing I found funny in this movie, and that is the fact that the one yokel dude, you think he's chewing a cigar, but it's actually a beef stick.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's like a beef jerky.
Like
Yeah,
the same one the whole movie. That's pretty
I
cool.
like that guy.
I like
was-
that, yeah.
I
Was
here
it
for
a
that
beef
guy.
stick? 'Cause I went to a college with a guy who used to chew like this root.
No, this
And-
was it was
It
totally
was a beef stick.
not a
Was it a
Slim
beef-
Jim. It was like a girthier beef stick. Is what it
Mm.
was.
That's how I describe a lot of things.
How do you feel about that, John?
Girthier beef stick.
But yeah,
Right.
overall, like it just, I don't know, it didn't do much for me.
I just like have an. I don't even
Hold
know how
on.
to say.
Can I go?
Oh
'Cause
yes,
I-
I'm sorry,
I-
John. I'm sorry.
I was actually going to make a joke about it. I was going to see how long I could talk before you like fucking lost your
I
mind.
have a lot to
'cause I know-
say, John.
Yeah, I know you want to get in. So it's funny. Like I actually would say I land in the middle here. I had like a decent enough time watching this. Like I did. It was like I never felt like I like was bored or I had to like break it up or anything. Like it's ludicrous. There are just there's almost I mean there's a good conversation to be had about how much of the sort of like quote unquote bad filmmaking was intentional versus like some of it was just a little sloppy. I think a lot of it was choices and like directions they wanted to go. I think it was also this isn't like a micro budget movie, but it's not a big budget movie. Like that, I think what I saw listed was $5 million, which for the amount of FX they used here, that's believable.
$5
That's
million.
at least 6 suits in a shitty building, right?
Did you just say $5 million?
$5 million, yeah. Well, I
Okay.
mean, Nic Cage is not.
It's
He's
yeah.
still
That was
taking a
mostly
paycheck.
Cage because what?
In any event, no, I don't know. Like I had a good time with this. I could see, like, to me, if you saw this at like a film festival, at a midnight screening and everybody was a little lit, you probably would have
Yes.
a decent time with it.
That's a good.
Um,
yeah.
But it was that like I actually was stone sober, and,
Same.
and I was like,
That was
Eh.
probably part of my problem too.
I
You need a bunch of
honestly
other
consider-
people that are really, really need a good time and are willing to just go with it. Like,
Yeah. I
that's the other way to
considered
put it.
like just being like, fuck it, I got to get something to drink because this is
Yeah.
ridiculous. But
that would have helped. Yeah. I just don't know what this movie is or like what it wants to be. My best guess is that it wants to be a kind of Psycho Gorman-esque, like very silly, nonchalant kind of thing. But this movie in retrospect makes me appreciate the writing of that movie so much because I can tell you it's a weird thing, but I can tell you exactly what Psycho Gorman is trying to be, and I don't know what it is here because like I don't think this movie is funny. And this is like a personal thing, but I feel like I'm fascinated by this whole cottage industry of like everybody, but apparently the people who own the rights to Five Nights at Freddy's is doing shit with this IP. I don't understand why they don't have a lawyer or like how this is happening, but it's very strange to me. But like,
well, it's not. This isn't. It's not a port, right? Like you can make something that.
I get
looks
it, but
like
it's
Five Nights at
clear
Freddy's,
what it's
but-
inspired by. Like,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
no doubt what it's inspired by. They obviously added a lot around it to try to differentiate it, and maybe that's where it goes wrong in some ways. But like, you could take this base concept of being stuck in a place like this with animatronic things that attack you, and make, in my mind, like a Paranormal Activity-esque type experience that is just all butt clenchy and atmosphere and like fun, like the kind of movie you want to see on like October 1st in a theater, right? But they don't do that at all here. They don't spend any time building up atmosphere. There's about 30 seconds where Nic Cage is unaware or not if these things are real. He comes to life and fights. One of them, like, attacks him and fights him before we even know what's happening. And then he just goes back to cleaning, like very nonchalantly.
He doesn't immediately like burn all of them
No,
to the ground.
no.
Like,
Yeah.
And he doesn't like
there's-
Well,
even in a silly movie, I feel like I need an it doesn't have to be serious, but I need internal logic for your universe. These things have supernatural powers that are ill-defined. They seem to be able to teleport. Like they erase anything that could have created any kind of even fun tension. The fight scenes are literally just bad WWE choreography. It was very
like,
repetitive.
Power Rangers fight scenes.
I
It
get
was
this
like-
is like in the weeds, but it really bothers me. I really feel like these people have no fucking idea what animatronics are because at no point do these things look like animatronics. For
That-
90%
that
of it,
first bird had a metal beak.
yeah, he had a metal beak.
for 90% of
that
it,
fairy one was the most
Yeah, it
like,
doesn't-
upsetting.
for not like I don't think the design of them is particularly like compelling or funny or interesting or anything. It's just kind of wacky. Like there's not I feel like it does matter. I understand what I'm saying sounds silly, but the whole authenticity of that idea is what matters to making this fun. And like they also have like they downloaded. I could go Google right now and find you the cheap ass stock robot noises that they used in this movie, and that really bothers me. It's literally like beep boop, like it's like cheap servo sound effects. And it's like that's not even what these sounds would be, bro. Like, throw me a bone here.
They're like running around
Yeah,
and throwing
bro.
punches. Like they.
Yeah, like there's no, and it's just a person in a suit. They're not even trying to act like they have robotic joints or something. Like,
Robot-y.
Well, why
yeah,
not?
It
go
bugs me. I'm
full-
sorry, it bugs me.
No, your point about the like internal logic is 100% fair, and like it's the right point, right? Like because there's a lot of different directions they could have gone but they kind of made like a middle choice of just like, we're gonna like half-ass these robots and like
To Joe's
he's
point,
not gonna
like
care.
this
I
is
don't know.
kind of what I feel like it looks like when Nic Cage gets really passionate about something, and the person he is working with does not is either not a big name or not somebody with a really strong vision, and Nic Cage comes in and just cages all over it. The contrast to this, to me, and Nic Cage, like modern thing, would be I'm trying to remember the name of it. The thing with the S&M Cenobites where they like kidnap his lady and kill her, and then he like gets revenge. Where he's in his
Mandy?
underwear.
Oh, Mandy.
Mandy is whatever. That's a divisive movie, but that's Nic Cage with like an auteur, like that. Nic Cage goes in and that guy's like, "This is my vision," and Nic Cage adds his caginess to it. But you can tell there's like I don't know, you know what I mean? I feel like Nic Cage just ran roughshod over the creative team here, and what it is a mess. Like what came out of it, and it's just a bummer because I feel like it could have been so much more.
You're just upset he wasn't wearing tighty whities and like drinking from a bottle of whiskey.
Why
at
is he
any
not
point in this
talking?
movie.
That's insane to me. Why he's not talking? Like.
Well, I mean, I took it as like, he's first of all, he's this random ass dude who like you don't have any motivation for, and
Yeah.
he doesn't have any backstory. So like, what is he supposed to be saying? Like, he's just a drifter who's
Well,
like
yeah, like
moving from town
this
to town.
version, my
I
version
don't
of this
think him
movie.
speaking would have changed your mind
No.
on any of this.
Well, not in this version of the movie. Like what it should be is just Nic Cage in this thing talking to himself and like slowly figuring out what's going on, and then you inject other characters as it goes along. Like it feels like two different movies with the rest of the stuff happening, and then Nic Cage, because he also doesn't care. I mean,
Well,
I
what
guess that's
don't
kind
get.
of
Like,
funny.
when you introduce the teenagers, like he doesn't care about saving the teenagers. He doesn't care about like, I mean, when he like drives off into the sunset.
He doesn't
with the
even seem to
girl,
be in the
like,
same movie.
Spoiler alert! My
Yeah.
God.
So yeah, I don't know. It's
It doesn't really ruin the movie, but
it doesn't do it for me. I'm very
Yeah.
baffled by the amount of plot in this movie. There are
Well,
two
all right.
separate extended info dumps by two different characters that aren't Nic Cage.
So I want to get to because that was actually what I wanted to get to, and like we can dissect a little bit that what the hell's actually going on. The premise, or what we are asked to believe, is that this town is maintaining Willy's Wonderland, where demons or the spirit of child murderers / molesters have
Yeah,
been
yes.
transferred into these
I don't
animatronics.
remember discussion
Serial
of
killers.
molesters, John.
Well, what you think they're just like?
I don't-
friendly
yeah, I
killer?
don't
Like,
remember
just-
that
No,
either.
they were specifically serial killers.
All right. Well, there was some gruesome shit going down. But the question is, why
Not
is the
all
town,
killers diddle, John. All right, free your mind.
Why
Yeah.
is the town maintaining the relationship. Like if they just burn the
That's-
whole place to the ground.
That's what I didn't understand, right? You have cops. Like one guy, I mean, it was spoiler, I guess. Like one guy stops this entire army of robots. Like
Yeah,
at no
with a
point did
broom.
like maybe
With a
5 or
broom,
6
yeah.
people get together with like shotguns and be like, all right, we're done here.
Yeah.
Well, because Nic
just-
Cage kills them so easily. It's like he
Yeah,
just grabs and goes bonk bonk on the wall
But
and they're
Eric,
dead.
he's a good fighter. He's good at fighting.
Why is he a good fighter, John?
That was
What
the
about his
joke.
character makes him a good fighter? Like, 'cause
I actually, one of my favorite parts of this was like the quote unquote like gore, like the animatronics gore, that
Yeah.
he would just like fight them and then there would just be like
Like
Explode,
rip out.
yeah.
Yeah.
just sprays of like gory
Yes.
black stuff on
Yeah.
it.
I guess
That amused me.
I could have looked aside from everything else. If like I wish it had gone a little more bonkers, right? Like
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
fight scenes with Nic Cage were fairly entertaining, and like specifically the stuff you were talking about, John, with like there was gore, but with like these robots. Like I wish it had been a little more wacky, and like maybe it could have been with him talking, but I don't know. Like it just it truly felt to me that they were just relying a lot on Nic Cage being Nic Cage, right?
Well, and the concept, like they are asking, look, and this is where I think somebody said it earlier, like if you just tell someone the concept of this movie, which is the only, I don't think I watched the trailer for this, but I had someone had said what it was about, and I was like, cool, in for that, like in
Yeah.
for it. And I do think they lean really hard on it. It's
Yeah.
basically, and look, like him not speaking is part of it. Like they're not even going to try to give the main character an arc. It's just like he kills a bunch of these animatronic things. So I don't know.
It's interesting when you talk about like the not speaking and stuff, and somebody brought it up on an email today about how that kind of lends it to maybe it's kind of like an homage to the video game, like a video game character. You're not hearing them talk, so he doesn't talk through the movie.
I like that. Yeah.
But then you add on to the repetition that's going on with each one. You could stretch it out to say that's a little video game like too. Like he's restarting a level over and over or something. They're starting a new level. So maybe that's the time.
And he
I don't
does.
know.
He changes his shirt, so he's
Yeah.
like legit
Every
starting
time.
clean every time.
I found him in a t-shirt very unnerving. I don't know why. I don't like that. Like,
he's got a
love
real
it.
he's got a real just for men situation happening too. I mean,
Yeah.
for starters,
yeah.
like that's not what his hairline looks like.
And it's not that black either.
Right.
Yeah.
He's got a
I
real
don't know.
Creed on the Office using the ink cartridge kind of thing.
it felt very Pulp Fiction when they shoot that guy in the head by accident and they have to like wear like flip-flops and shorts and like a
Yeah.
t-shirt after. And it's like this is I don't like this. Like something about this feels wrong.
What's with the pinball? Like, why do we care that he's playing pin? Like, I get once. It's like 4 times. Extended.
don't
I
know,
did
but
like the gag where he's about to help this, the sort of main woman fight, and his like alarm goes off. He's like, "No, sorry, I gotta go. Pinball
Every
time."
time. But I don't get why we had to watch him play pinball so much either. But like that last time you played, and you had the air blowing and the laser lights and the dancing and
Oh,
everything. That
okay.
was like my spirit animal moment.
But then it went
There-
on for 8 minutes.
there
like,
are
full
so-
disclosure, I fast forwarded through that.
This movie did a thing I thought was impossible. It made me hate lens flares. Like, I am for a turn of phrase, John, a slut for lens flares. But like,
Mm.
whoever edited this movie needs to have the software that makes fake lens flares taken away from them because this is irresponsible, and like it's distracting. I feel like it's trying to
I
like
do.
up the production value, and it just makes it look cheaper.
it went like a whole level beyond to like they were using it was like
They were
filters or-
colored and like
yeah.
I
it-
do
it
remember
was
that
weird.
horror hound where you fucked all those people for lens flares. That was weird.
It's a weird time in my life.
Do you think they're like? I mean, same question with the
Dicks
pin.
everywhere.
Same question about the pinball I have with the soda. Like,
Yeah.
why? Like, I
That-
guess it was like
that's-
tons of.
Was it supposed to be
caffeine.
like an energy drink or something?
I think it was an energy drink.
Like
Yeah.
Jolt or something.
You would
Yeah.
die.
That
You
to
would
me
die
felt
if you
very
drank as
much
many
like,
of those
all
as
right,
you did.
people really latched on this cheddar goblin thing, and Mandy, like, what's our thing going to be? Like, let's have this cola,
Yeah.
and we'll
That's
start
a-
selling
yeah, that's kind
t-shirts
of a
on
good point.
TeePublic.
You know what I did really like about this movie? It's subtle, but I really appreciated all the like original music that they produced for the animatronic band, because it's like we hear
It's Your Birthday song?
Well, at different times we hear like benign versions of it, but then as in certain scenes, like it starts like creeping in weirder lyrics in some of them, and I liked. But that's, I mean,
Yeah.
that's the kind of stuff that makes me think about the potential for this is just a creepy atmospheric thing. You know what I mean?
See, I actually would go the other way and say I felt like that It's Your Birthday song. I think this was actually intentional. It felt like they spent 5 minutes coming. It's like, well, it's your birthday. What does that rhyme with? Like
That kind of fit the motif of the restaurant.
Well,
It
that
was,
is
but
what
yeah,
Chuck E.
right,
Cheese,
yeah.
because they had to come up with their own songs because of like they
Yeah.
were afraid of the
Yeah.
copyright or
I
whatever.
was
They were
very
serial
impressed
killers,
with
not
that.
musicians.
I was very impressed with that song that came up at the end, though, because it was like 8 minutes and like the Lord I Can't Change song or whatever it was. If I leave here tomorrow, John.
Man,
like,
Oh.
that song.
I was
is
like, what are you talking about?
Epic.
Oh, yeah.
Freebird.
epic.
That honestly, if you want to know where the budget went,
I was
licensing.
gonna say, I'm
Freebird
sure the
is-
budget went there.
Uh,
I
Yeah.
actually wanted to look that up. Like at this point, is that like public domain? Because I
No.
mean, how old is that song?
What's that?
No, it's not
Freebird?
public domain. No.
Oh yeah, that's a good question. I wondered. I did also wonder how much they paid for Freebird. Let's not forget though, whoever owns those rights are a little fast and loose because let's not forget the entire song plays over the end of The Devil's Rejects,
Yeah,
like all 12 minutes of it.
I will never forget.
Hmm.
Yeah.
'Cause he's
The other
free as a
character we
bird,
want-
John.
Do we want to talk about any of the other characters? I'm curious. I mentioned this over email. How did you all feel about the main female lead? Like, I did not think she was a good actress, and
Yeah.
I didn't think
Yeah,
any of
I
them
mean,
were
sure.
great.
Yeah.
Like,
I thought she was on par with Nic Cage. Honestly, I don't have a problem with her. I
that's
thought,
that's called damning with faint praise, Joe.
yeah, I don't know. It's a backhanded compliment.
I mean,
Yeah.
it just seemed like it was. I mean, and it may have been because I didn't look at it, but I mean, it just looked like it was, or seemed like it was her first foray into big screen acting.
She was in the remake of Party of Five that's on Freeform. I
what?
saw.
Gotcha.
It's
Okay.
it's
I
it's
didn't
weird
know.
because I was looking through her IMDb page and it says even in her bio that she's a producer, but she has one credit for production, and then when you click on it, there's nothing listed there. I was very thrown off.
Well, on her Wikipedia page, she says she was a YouTuber,
Mm.
and so I was kind of like that. You know, who knows, like where they're finding people these days? But
I thought she was fine.
I
She's
I
on
mean,
that
she's
Mayans
fine. I
and
mean, just
Sea.
saying, like,
I did like, the woman who plays the cop is kind of a character actress. You know,
Yeah.
we've seen her a bunch before.
Staple.
Yeah, who I enjoyed. I don't know. We talked about the redneck,
Yeah.
the tow truck driver.
And the boss hog wannabe that was running the town or
Yeah,
whatever.
Well,
Or owned Willys.
that's Kyle's dad's friend. Like they've been really good friends for a long time.
really?
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Dude, let's get an interview. Come on.
Kyle,
Yeah,
Kyle, we
after,
were
after
sitting
you just
down to
ripped apart this movie for an hour, John.
That's
we
that's
sat down to
ripped.
watch it, and then Kyle saw his name, and he was like, "Wait, what?" And then we looked it up, and he was like, "Oh yeah, he's in this movie." And then,
Wait, which guy? The
sheriff.
mechanic
Rick-
or
the
the
British
other
sheriff.
sheriff?
mhm.
Oh, him I actually really enjoyed. I thought he seemed like a really nice
Oh.
guy.
He's like the
The other
super.
sheriff,
Oh, not the sheriff. I'm sorry, the guy wearing the cowboy hat. The
Tex McAdoo.
yeah,
Tex,
Yeah.
yes,
McAdoo.
Casey, thank you. Tex McAdoo,
Mm.
Yeah.
which I did honestly. That was one of the other things I found funny was his name.
Yeah.
That's a good ass dumb name.
My biggest disappointment or anything is I was hoping at some point as crazy good at fighting and cleaning as Nic Cage seemed throughout this, and he did talk and he had this whole religious thing to his sodas and his breaks. I wanted to know what was going to happen when he missed a break. So I was half expecting then he would miss a break because the monsters would keep him, and that's what would make him go like Super Saiyan or something like
Well,
that
I
and go
mean,
crazy.
I'm kind of with you because a text tells him like make sure you take your break. So like it was like the
Yeah.
mandated break, and you're like, okay, so he sets his timer, but then nothing ever happens. So I'm with you. I wish that would have.
I was mostly
Gone somewhere.
concerned that he never went to the bathroom and he
Hmm.
drank like 12 of those drinks.
That's true.
I mean,
we
John,
don't
that's-
do that.
Bathroom?
Dehydrated.
John, that's an unhealthy amount of caffeine. Like you can't.
Yeah,
I don't think you
that's
could
all-
actually drink that much in a night.
Well,
I did like when he used the sodas in the final showdown. Like that was,
Yeah.
again,
Oh,
there
right.
was one of those little moments where I was like, cool. All right.
So I mean, we already kind of spoiled the very ending where the main actress gets in the car with him and kind of leaves at the end. I thought it was really funny because the first thing that popped into Leslie and I's head, like when that happened, and like almost in unison, is like, you don't fucking know this guy. Like, what if Nic Cage is just a really good fighter, but also like a child molester? Like, you don't know his backstory.
Well, but
He's
also like
60 years old, and she's like 20.
Well, I don't think they implied that like they got together. Or
yeah,
anything,
I don't think so either. But it's just weird because it's like you haven't spoken a word to him. You don't know where you're going. You don't have anything with you, and you're just like, yeah, this is better than the town I'm in. Like,
Yeah.
He was polite though. He offered her one of the special sodas.
Her mom, who is
knows
now
what's in that
killed,
soda,
also chained her to a radiator in the trailer.
Well, that was weird when they
that
tried to
was
have like
protect her, quote unquote.
Well, I don't know. I feel like they tried to build this bond between like the mother and daughter sort of angle, but then it's like, well, you're also kind of a murderer. And
and she's also like the adoptive mom. So,
Yeah.
like, I get it.
Well, she's the adopted mom because like she set up the girl's
killed her real parents.
It also bugged me that Nic Cage had that big ass, he had the full leather coat and he had the fancy ass Mustang, like obviously like top tier level Ford Mustang and everything, but he had to carry his sodas around in a burlap bag.
Yeah. I also don't understand how, if you're going to spend that much on your car, that you don't have run flats. Like, there's no way that you would be driving across country in a nice ass car like that and you wouldn't have run flats. Like, I call BS.
We're not masculine men, Cece. I have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah,
you could run over something and your tire wouldn't go flat.
Wait,
that zigzag thing was like, those nails were huge.
I mean, I know, but I'm just saying, like, it would have, I don't think it would have, I mean, eventually your tire does go down, but I'm like, he spends way too much on his car for him to be driving some back ass woods and then for him to be like, oh, well, I got to call some random tow truck or just wait on the side of the road till it comes by.
Agreed.
I don't believe it.
Yeah.
Eric, where are you at on the run flats? That's what you have on your car, I assume.
Pro run flat. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Yeah.
They make those for bikes. I feel like I've popped a lot of.
It's like it fills. Doesn't it fill your tire with something so that like it displaces the air or something?
Yeah, I don't know the mechanics behind it. Because I mean,
well,
like,
you know more than we do, Cece.
She knows they exist.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, I've had them.
No, I have heard of that before.
I've had them on my car before, but I never ran over anything. So I just know that you can keep going for a little while. That like. Essentially, you know that you've run over something, but you don't get stranded on the side of the road.
Of all the moments that strain credulity with him not speaking, that's probably the biggest one. When he just this thing in the road that shouldn't be there destroys his car, and he just looks at them when they show up.
Yeah, and he's just like, okay, this is normal. I'm fine for the next.
You know, a line kind of made me laugh.
He was also a robot, and that's why he was so like adamant about his brakes and like.
Well, he
like,
moves
that was, like,
just
his
like
directive.
he moves just like the other robots, which is to say, like a human. So. I did
good direction though if he had been a robot Matronic.
Yeah, I did like the gag when the mechanic was like, "Yep, no internet in town, so none of the ATMs work." It's like, why are they there then?
Why did you have one?
Yeah,
pretty funny. It's pretty good.
Oh, that
ATMs also
fun.
predate the internet.
I know.
Yeah.
That's a good point, John. How did they work before? I guess they were just self-contained.
Yeah.
CD-ROMs.
We watched
American Psycho.
Yes,
it had an
thank
ATM.
you. Yes.
No internet there.
That blows my mind though. They're just like
they ran on cats.
On the street. Like they just
ate feral cats.
I was thinking that last week while watching that movie. The just on the street open air ATM blows my mind. Like, who thought that was a good design choice in the middle of a city? Like, and who wants to? And who wants to?
Exist?
Yeah, that's still a thing.
I'm just. It's a terrible. Like, you want to stand with your back to whatever's going on in the street behind you in the middle of the night.
You sound like my mom.
Get
Eric.
money out. Okay. I don't like being in the vestibule, Joe.
Oh God! It's all drug dealers and murderers in that big city.
I don't like it. No, sir. Just saying.
So we're good?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't go to the ATM.
And if have run flats if you're going.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Have
Visit
run flats,
Casey in
don't go to
Indiana.
the ATM, and you know, if be suspicious of animatronics that look like humans.
It's a good point.
Don't be suspicious.
Don't be. See, Joe's been on TikTok. All right, all right, guys. CC, would you recommend this?
Yes, I mean, I thought it was fun.
Joe,
It's a no for me, dog.
Casey,
Yes.
John.
I think I'm gonna go no.
Yeah, I'm also gonna say no.
Dang, Casey,
Dang.
it's me, boy.
My bar for this kind of thing is a lot higher than it used to be. Like, just being weird and wacky is not enough for me. It's got to be. You got to like nail
Well,
it.
so Eric, the point because you brought this up briefly earlier, but like Psycho Goreman, like the biggest difference between that movie and this movie to me is like that movie has a ton of jokes. Like
There's a
writing jokes in the
density to
script.
the joke, so even with the stuff that doesn't land, there's a lot more stuff that's gonna
Yeah,
hit.
if it's like even if 10% hits, that's like a fair.
Dude,
There's no jokes.
Straight
there's
up,
very few
there
jokes.
are things that teenagers say that I'm like, I think that was supposed to be a joke, but I'm not sure. Like, you shouldn't be even. I would rather have a bad reaction to a joke and be like, that was terrible. Like that girl in Psycho Goreman, everything she said. I guess I would rather feel that than hear something a character says and be like, I don't know if that was a joke. Like,
Are you guys talking about when they had sex without being married? Like that was supposed to be a goof? Like, oh, this is crazy. This doesn't happen.
really, like they know what goes on in that building. Murder. Like, why
right?
are they?
Why would you have sex
this
in that
isn't-
building?
This isn't a horror
Yeah.
movie where you don't know yet that people are
Yeah.
being murdered, so you go have sex. Like, they're fully in a murder situation already.
Some people just get mad hornier.
Yeah.
and I
We
mean,
can we can spot our own.
I feel you, Joe. Okay, let's do it. Let's take a quick. Go ahead, Joe. Make your joke.
No, I got nothing.
Okay, let's take a quick break and do some fan mail.
Fun, romance. In California, you'll find fun, romance, and vampires.
You better get yourself a garlic t-shirt, buddy.
You been eating pizza?
No, why?
Ooh, you smell like garlic.
The Lost Boys. The New York Times calls it timely, relentlessly funny, and a hip comic twist on the classic vampire movie. Bring home The Lost Boys on video cassette from Warner Home Video.
This is Diane Franklin from Better Off Dead with Bloody Good Horror.
Send feedback to info@bloodygoodhorror.com or on Twitter using hashtag AskBGH. Join Patreon to get back episodes and much more. Patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror.
And we're back. Breaking news, John Schnars. The BGH Book Club has moved to Reddit.
Redditors.
The lovely Alyssa, who has been spearheading the book club this year and last year, she decided that a lot of the discussion was happening on Slack, and she wanted to make sure that it was open to people who weren't just patrons. So they're trying to move the bulk of the discussion over to Reddit, and the address is BGH. It's r/BGH Book Club. So if you wanted to check out the discussions and you kind of have been, I think the idea was that even though they were using Goodreads, more of the discussions were happening on Slack. So
And
now,
also, fuck Amazon.
well, yeah, and so now they're trying to redirect all of it over to Reddit. So BGH Book Club on Reddit, you can check that out.
Wait, does Amazon own Goodreads?
Mm-hmm.
No, I think Sophie was talking about this too,
Sophie was
right?
telling us
Yeah.
about it.
I don't remember what she said that she was over on now, but
Story something.
that just
Good.
Google that story something.
Yeah.
Good talk, guys.
Quick note from Andy, who runs bloodygoodhorror.com. Luke has a review of the Wrong Turn reboot. I forgot about that. On Friday, Adam will have a new In Extremis talking about Orphan from 2009. That's the day this comes out. Fun fact, the director of that film is helming the upcoming Jungle Cruise movie, which I'm sure Joe is excited about.
Wait, what's happening? What was the? I
The,
zoned out.
the director of Orphan is the same person who's directing the Jungle Cruise movie. That's the Rock thing, right?
Yes, very much.
That looks fun.
Very excited.
It
looks great.
Yeah, I saw a trailer for that. It looks fun. I'm not.
The
I
Rock
don't.
and
I don't
what's
get.
it, Emily Blunt.
I don't get like turgid over Disney stuff like you do, Joe. But as a casual observer, that trailer looked like a lot of fun.
I love a movie based on a ride.
I know this about you. Before we get to email, Cece,
Yes.
do you want to talk about making Joe uncomfortable and art?
I mean, I always want to make Joe uncomfortable, but no, I just wanted to thank Joe as well as several of our listeners for tuning in to my symposium last Friday while I talked about medieval sex and pubic mounds. Yeah, it was a
Within
good
like
15
the
minutes.
first 2 minutes, there was mention of pubic mounds.
Oh yeah.
And I should say, like, following another woman talking about, like, what was the first one where literally she was talking about this temple and how it related to Jesus, and like it was a very like godly talk. And then the person after her kind of got into like sex, and then Cece was just like pubic mound.
It's true. Just
Did you give Joe a quiz after? Was it kind of like a?
No,
no. It was
So how
only
much
it was
you're-
only like a 12-minute presentation, so not long enough to take a note.
would the quiz have been like one question? Hey, which of the fellow podcasters supports me most?
Yeah.
Oh.
It would be me. The answer would be me.
All right. No,
I
you're
think
right.
you're contractually obligated to, since we share a husband. So
I was literally spent the whole time trying to like DM Kyle because I saw his name.
Joe,
on there,
you
too.
are. Let's not forget that you are a brother wife.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that's a cool thing that people from the community came out
Yes.
and checked it
So
out.
thank you again. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. We only got one email this week. It's from Justin. The subject was speaking of sex toys, and then it was just a picture.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Then it was just a picture of the vajankle, if you guys remember that.
I don't.
John, do you need to see?
I mean, I
Somebody,
like, now when you say
somebody
that,
in
I'm like,
another
I-
lifetime of BGH emailed us about this, and it's like a sex toy that's a foot, but also a fleshlight, and like the fleshlight's like on the top of like the severed ankle.
Yeah.
What?
Do you
I
guys
will
need?
say
Do I have to
Wow.
get this and put it in the? I mean,
Yeah, I don't remember this.
so but here's the thing. So I do because
Where's
how could
the
you?
hole?
How could you ever
The
on
top of
earth?
the ankle.
How could you
Duh.
guys forget seeing this thing? How could you get?
It
I am
rings a
so
bell, but-
envious of you that you guys have managed to purge this from your brain, because I never have. Like before this happened, I could have drawn it for you.
What was it? Leslie showed me something where, or I forget, somebody
Someone's
mentioned
gonna
it,
go
like-
into your house and there's
Coming
like
at
just
ya.
fucking notebooks with drawings of the
Listen,
vagina,
I feel
Oh.
assaulted by this email because
Oh. Ooh.
it's the
Like,
worst.
Ooh.
Get
It is
if
the
you have a
worst
foot
thing.
fetish, but like,
It's the worst thing that has ever existed. Let's just say that out of the
No.
gate.
Eric, come on.
I'm just like,
Listen,
there's so many questions.
I feel attacked by this person because I opened the Gmail app, and apparently Gmail does this thing now where it'll open up this little tab and be like, here's recent photos in your inbox, but I hadn't even opened this email yet. So I just saw that photo out of context, out of nowhere when I was writing an email.
Like, is that for people with foot fetishes or people that want like a dismembered foot?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
like,
like a cadaver.
I mean, I think
A little
after-
column A, a little column
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it just it's got a wide
it's
range.
so realistic. It makes me. I'm gonna close the chat. I
Dude,
can't. If you guys
Like,
need
I
me,
wonder,
text me.
Is the foot hard though? Like, does it feel like a foot, or is it?
no, it's got to
fleshy?
be like that fleshy material.
But what
I
I'm
am
saying is,
legit-
Like, does
Oh,
it
something
drop,
here is hard.
or do you think there's got
No,
like?
Casey,
is there a
no.
bone in there?
I'm legit sick to
Hmm.
my stomach right now. I just want you guys to know that.
I do have to apologize because
Can you
last week
pose,
after talking about overkink for like 15 minutes, I got an email the next day saying that they were going down for maintenance for like 48 hours. So I'm sure the flood of people
Joe,
that went there based on my
I know of
recommendation.
several people, just myself, who went to that site to order things just from you talking about it. So
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope we get some sort of sponsorship.
yeah. You've inspired a lot of future orgasms, Joe. How do you feel about that?
Wow. Eric, I mean, I did that.
Oh, that
you know.
plus his cameos.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
I've been
right.
on Cameo. I'm on the TikToks.
That's
like,
right. Info@bloodygoodhorror.com, unless you're Justin, in which case your email privileges have been revoked. So
Do not email.
I'm not opening them from now on. What do we got on Twitter, Joe?
We are on Twitter at BG Horror. We use the hashtag AskBGH every week. If you want to send in a question or, just get to know us. First up from Lord Zombie XIII. What is that? Is that 9? 8?
13?
13
Yeah,
with the
13.
X. All right. Chuck E. Cheese, Freddy Fazbear's, or Willy's Wonderland.
So-
which would you rather work at for a week
I mean,
on the overnight shift?
living on the north, like growing up in the Northeast, I only was ever around Chuck E. Cheese's. So I
I've
never
only ever
knew.
seen a Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
I literally did not know what a Showbiz Pizza was until I saw that documentary.
Well, I think the documentary says that Showbiz Pizza was first. Chuck E. Cheese stole the idea and became like a national
Well, and then
chain and then
basic-
bought them out, right?
But according to the documentary, they were both in really bad financial shape when it happened. So it wasn't even like they kind of joined to survive, but Chuck E. Cheese had more hand in the negotiations, let's say. So they were
Yeah.
able to just.
That's kind of a bummer, right? Like if you've been to Chuck E. Cheese, like it's nothing like when we were
Dude,
kids. Like,
There's still, I mean, weirdly, because in New York they're gone for at least where we grew up, Joe. But out here, they're still all over the place, and I never see
there's one,
anyone
like-
in the parking lot. I swear to God, they're empty always.
oh, really? Because there's one like 5 minutes from our house, and like
Even
it's not, like, I'll
before-
take Mia there like on a Friday night. Like she loves it.
Even before COVID, I swear I can barely tell it if they're still open when I drive by.
Is it like is it like a Dave and Buster's now? Like it's basically
Sort
just
of.
an arcade?
Oh,
It's pretty
interesting.
much an arcade. Yeah, there's no like ball pit. There's no like animatronics anymore. Like there's nothing like that. I think I remember talking to Mark about this actually. Like I think there is still a few, maybe like in Florida, that still have the animatronics, but it's very like few and far in
Do
between.
you remember that down at the floor where the stage was, they had like mouse holes you could crawl
Yes,
into, and there were
yeah,
little like
yeah.
corridors? It was like Lord of the Flies under there, man.
And it always smelled like farts.
Yes.
Please.
Oh
the
man.
little cheese holes smell like farts, and the ball pit always had piss in it.
I mean, I don't really.
Well, I just feel like ball pits. We're just like done now with ball pits because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
I just assume they're. Like,
yeah.
I mean, there's a bright side to everything, Joe.
I don't really have a lot of like good. I don't really think back like, oh, Chuck E. Cheese. I remember that time I went. I do still have
See, I had birthday parties there and stuff.
I still have a token from there, so at some point I went there and saved it.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. Well, that
See,
was the only good thing about the ball pit was you could go to the bottom, and that's where like when kids drop their tokens, you could find tokens at the bottom of the ball pit.
Holy shit, I
Yeah, but they were
love that,
covered in
dude.
pee.
So
Joe,
yes,
you know
yeah,
what
that's
that
Free
is?
tokens, Cece.
Yeah, Joe, that's like
token.
that's like going around to the arcade machines and checking for quarters that came back and nobody caught, or like trying to find
Oh,
people's
yeah.
tickets they forgot to grab after they played like skee ball.
Exactly.
We were
Except
arcade
these are covered in piss.
scroungers.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Next up, two from Alex Jones. Have any of you seen or plan on doing an episode on Super Dark Times? Or did you do an episode and I just missed it because I'm a dumb idiot?
We did. It's
We did.
We
if you
did.
go to patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror, you can get the back episodes. It's in there somewhere. Someone
Did
who
we? What is
Yes.
that movie about? I don't remember.
it was a
this.
top 10 that year.
Yeah, it was. It like snuck in. At
It
the
was
very
set
end
in the
of
90s, and it was like a bunch of kids. There's like basically one friend kills another friend or something, and then they
There's
cover it up,
like, yeah, like,
Oh, I do remember
and
this.
the
I
other
think I enjoyed
kids
it.
are just like slowly cracking under the pressure of having like witnessed.
It had
this thing.
the John lookalike there, Charlie Tahan, or however you say his name.
Oh, interesting. I remember that.
Yeah. All right, and then he followed up with another one. Also, how much would it cost to have Joe officiate a wedding via Cameo? And the answer to that is nothing.
I'm
Like,
not sure that's
whatever-
legal, but sure.
Well, I got to imagine over Zoom, I could
Oh,
do
yeah.
that.
Do it over Zoom.
Yeah, I'd be perfectly happy to officiate your wedding over Zoom. I am an ordained minister. I am there for you. It'll cost you whatever it costs for your wedding license. But outside of that, I'm game.
someone I work with got married over the weekend. In New York, they did. They like passed all these laws so that you could get married.
Do it over.
over
Yeah, I
Zoom.
guess the only thing I don't know is like out of state. Like, how do you go about getting the wedding license and like I can like legally officiate on it?
The
We were-
officiant, at least in New York, the officiant has to be in state. She was telling me all
Yeah.
about it. It's
We were
it's-
just talking about that on Slack because like some people were saying like, yeah, I just got invited to like a real in-person wedding, and I was like, no.
Yeah, I got invited to a real in-person wedding
Why?
out west, and I was like, I love you, but no.
You don't want to travel across the country and then go to a wedding.
No,
Yeah.
like just drive with a small child. Like that's actually.
Bro,
Okay.
I had cousins who over the summer got on planes and all traveled to the same place to go to a baby shower at a restaurant.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
They are now forever in my head known as the COVID cousins. That's just
Yeah.
that's my shorthand for them now.
You needed shorthand for like, sir. How many cousins do you have?
Not that many, but they've been branded now. So
Two
I have
less
3
now.
cousins, and it's 2 of them. that are
Yeah.
COVID cousins.
I'm legit of the camp of like, if you're a COVID dum dum, you're out. Like I didn't really like you that much anyway. So like I'm just gonna stop pretending like there's familial responsibility here.
You didn't like anyone that much, is what you're
Yeah.
saying.
yeah.
No, not really. So like you're
Yeah.
all on thin ice, is what I'm saying. Like
Yeah. You're really just looking for an excuse.
not you guys. I just mean like my family. It's about like it's like my extended.
I
Who
hear-
needs their extended family, John? Like come on. There's a lot of weird shit going on in those branches.
All right, next up from Fusilo Toro, Japanese ghosts or American ghosts?
Neither.
I mean, the Japanese ghosts are way scarier.
They're
It's-
super scary.
yeah. I don't really have an opinion on this one.
Yeah, I don't know if I care.
Can I
either
say
way.
can I say the Japanese ghosts in Cabin in the Woods because they're hilarious
Oh.
and amazing.
I mean,
they seem easier to defeat in some instances, but not all instances.
Mm. Well, there's like a
mean,
formula, right? You
Yes,
just like
there's
find
a-
out what
there's
happened
a-
and go
Yeah.
bury them or something.
I don't know. I'm all for keeping American jobs, so I would go American ghosts.
Fair. It's a good call.
Next up from Dos Ex Manatee, my one and only fan, Renee. Which unintentionally creepy mascot would you least want to come to life and try to kill you?
Mm.
I'm gonna say Grimace. That dude is terrifying.
I mean, Uncle Traveling Matt.
Mm.
It's well documented.
Grimace is
Yeah.
pretty scary. Well, that is true.
What's that Philadelphia Flyers mascot?
Gritty.
Oh.
Gritty.
Grady, that'd be pretty terrifying.
Casey, Gritty is alive.
Yeah. Mr.
He
Matt, I feel like would be pretty terrifying. Like just with that like creepy smile, like chasing down you.
Yeah, I feel like any of the like sports mascots,
Yeah.
those like the Fanatics, same deal.
I
It's
mean,
like there's you can always spin them to be evil, and
that's
be
the
pretty
thing
creepy.
about the animatronic band thing is in real life it is so creepy.
Yeah.
So how do you make a movie this silly and like not have it be a little creepy?
Mm.
Do you remember you ever been in a Bugaboo Creek, Joe?
Oh,
They
absolutely.
still
Yeah.
have-
They had
I
the
don't-
moose on
I
the
mean,
wall?
I don't know if they still exist, but they had like sort of an adult version of like a like that's the only because what you're not taking your kids to a steakhouse like
Yeah. It was like a like an Outback style type place. It wasn't like a full.
but it wasn't a
steakhouse.
full on kids thing is what I'm saying. But it had
Yeah,
like,
but
there was like a
they had, like,
bass on the
animatronic
wall and like a
moose
moose
and, like,
head.
an- Yeah.
Moose and squirrel.
The tree sang. I loved it. I love a good Bugaboo Creek. I want to go right now. I'm gonna look into this. Next up, speaking of one and only fans, here's John's. That's C.O.W. Flanagan, Hoagie lover. Yo, this movie was a tour de fart. I done seen it 4 times and paid full price. Reminded me of taking my grandkids to Showbiz Pizza and the hours I spent on the toilet afterwards. Not so much a question as just misspelled words. Next up from Chris Aleante. Who among the crew would last the longest in a real life 5 nights at Freddy's?
These questions, we always get these questions, man. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't have gone back to cleaning after the first one tried to kill me.
Yeah, I would have died because I would have never left the pinball machine. I would have been pretty easy to sneak up on.
I do love a good pinball machine.
Yeah.
Bugaboo Creek Steakhouse. I think they're all defunct.
I know.
2016.
Yeah, there was one in the
That's-
mall there, Joe, by us.
Yeah, in Crossgates. I remember that. There was one by King of Prussia Mall, John. In
I've never heard of it. That's
oh yeah, or no, it
Not
wasn't
that
King
far.
of Prussia. It was that big Franklin Mills, the big
Oh.
outlet mall on the
Yeah.
outside. Big fan. All right. Last but not least, on Twitter, then we'll jump over to Insta tweets. That Neil Martin, 3 films long overdue for a Blu-ray release. Go.
I don't
I don't
keep
know
up with
what's
that anymore.
gotten a Blu-ray.
Yeah, I don't know either. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not great with things. All right, let's do his next one. Good answer, huh? That Neil Martin. I seem to have bought a load of films with quote unquote werewolf in the title. So top WW films would include American, The Werewolf, Wolf, and The Wolfman. But what would be the fifth? The Wolf of Wall Street, I think.
Gotta have wolf in the title.
I guess. Two W's?
Yeah, no, I mean that's the premise. The movie Wolf is, from what I remember, not good. Although
No,
I've not
it's
seen
not.
it
Yeah,
in
it's
a
not.
long time.
That was with Jack Nicholson, right?
Yeah.
Not great.
I mean, we've talked. Oh, Dog Soldiers is the one I'm thinking of. That movie's friggin' great. What was the other one with the guy from Stakeland? There was a werewolf movie where he's the protagonist.
Does not ring a bell.
We covered it on the show. This is gonna take some IMDb. In any event, that was
two great answers to your questions.
that was a good movie. I'm gonna look it up. You can.
All right, get back to us, John. We are over on Instagram at Bloody Good Horror. Every Tuesday we post up. You can, send in your questions. We'll help you get through the day. First up, longtime listener and refuser of using fields to submit questions. Favorite road trip snack. Also, what's the longest distance you've personally driven straight through on a trip?
Straight through New York to South Florida was like 23 hours.
I went
Also,
17 hours one time.
I'm a big fan of the trail mix because it's got everything you need. It's got a little sugar, a little bit of fiber, some healthy fats. It'll help fuel you.
Yeah.
You gotta
have some-
strategize. Like you can't just be eating junk if you're trying to drive for 23 hours because you're gonna die.
Yeah.
Disagree.
I'm a big fan of beef jerky.
Yeah, I
the
enjoy
car.
jerky, and pork rinds are kind of my go-to on long trips. And I will say the longest I've driven in one straight stop or shot would be to Port Canaveral in Florida, which I think was like 19 hours, but with a 10-month-old. So that 19 hours turned into, I want to say, like 25.
Did you drive or did you guys swap driving?
No, I drove straight
Wow, damn, dude.
Joe
That's
always drives. I
hardcore.
feel like you don't let Leslie drive on these.
You also
long
drove
hauls.
that big, insane behemoth of a RV you guys rented like across.
I
country.
love a good dad drive. Like I hate stopping. Like we get in the car and I'm like, let's just do this. Like yeah, I'm a big fan.
You know what I'm doing, Joe? I'm fully making everyone listen to NPR too. I don't give an F.
Oh God. Unless I'm driving, I have to stop every 2 hours to pee.
Let's see. The last time we drove to Florida, when we were leaving Florida, we get out of the state. I'd agreed to call. We'd stop every 2 hours for peeing, but we were coming out of Orlando, so
2
I
hours.
knew I was 2 hours.
Pretty
Drove
often.
2 hours, still had 2 hours to the border, and they were asleep. Colleen and Delaney. I'm like, screw it, we're going.
No, fuck that. I'm only stopping if like someone's crying, like that they have to do something.
Exactly.
Oh man.
No.
I think we had a
have these,
discussion once about the Gatorade bottle.
Oh, I've definitely peed in a bottle,
Yeah.
like on a trip.
But the problem was I waited so long, I had to pee so much that I was then getting a backflow situation, and I could not fully relieve
That's super
myself.
gross.
You know, like
There's nothing more terrifying than when that bottle gets like 3/4 of the way.
that's what
full.
I'm. Yes, Joe. Thank you. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
You gotta have the bigger bottle.
No,
Like,
John,
you're
I
not
had
eating a
the
little
giant
bottle.
I drink a lot of water.
This isn't like a situation you plan out before you get in the car. Like you.
No.
Here's what you got. I hear you.
I went to at the time it was Kmart to buy the biggest Gatorade bottle they had. Just for this, I dumped the Gatorade out and just had it on
All right,
standby.
then you're a psychopath.
Really quick on the werewolf movie. The movie was originally called, when we reviewed it, which I believe was 2014 or maybe 2015, Late Phases. On IMDb, it's
I
now
remember
called
that.
Night of the Wolf.
Oh,
and
weird.
It's apparently been retitled. So
I do remember that.
yeah, it's a sweet movie, and it now has wolf in the title. So there you go.
I'm still looking up Bugaboo Creeks. All right, let's bang through this. We got a good amount, so we can bang through these. John, this one for you: Team Teresa or Team Jackie from Real Housewives of New Jersey?
I know who Teresa is. I don't know who Jackie is. So
Yeah.
we'll say Teresa.
No, fuck Teresa. Get Susan here.
Is she
I want
the
to talk
one
about.
that went to prison? Who was the one?
Yes, yeah. She's
Oh
a
yeah, no,
piece of
I'm
trash.
anti her. Then
Yeah.
Jackie, pro Jackie.
My answer was anyone who's against Teresa. That would be my team. Oh wait, I'll come back to that one. Why is John really hiding out in Maryland? What do you think?
Guys, I would go back to New York tomorrow if I could.
Mhm.
We're like pretty sure we've got a plan. So I
Oh.
don't want to get
A
into
plan
it.
to
We're
what?
gonna
To
be back.
reintegrate into the city?
Yeah.
Love it, dude.
Oh, I'm
We
excited.
actually talked to our old nanny. The old nanny's going to come back. I mean,
I'm excited about
You're
this,
getting
John.
the
I feel
band.
like-
You're gonna get the band back together.
Dude, the nanny situation. Look, if you don't, I mean, it's very stressful. Someone who's like taking care of your kids full time, it's that person matters a lot. If it's the wrong person, so.
Where's your favorite theater to see a movie? Mine is the Music Box in Chicago.
There are a couple of real cool old theaters in Boston that I'd try to make it out to every once in a while.
Our
Yeah.
plaza in Atlanta just got listed on the top 100 most beautiful theaters in
Oh,
the world.
Nice.
I mean, honestly, the coolest theater I've ever been in is the Oriental in Milwaukee. When we
I
went.
mean, that was a
That place was
beautiful-
awesome.
Beautiful.
That was great, yeah.
I was like jaw open when I walked into
Yeah.
the hall of that place where the actual screen is with all those like statues and the like huge ceiling. It's
Yeah.
It was
incredible.
awesome.
Yeah, I was a big fan of my hometown theater growing up, a little independent one of Reese Theater, and it was nothing like extravagant like the Oriental, but it was where I learned to love movies. The coolest thing about it, though, is it's been closed and vacant for a good 10 years now, maybe 15, and now the city
That
has
is
bought
cool.
it, and they are renovating it, and they're like, that's a whole community thing. They're going to turn it into a mixed art space with restoring the movie theater, too.
Yeah,
So the one I
that
used to
is
go
nice.
to is called the Coolidge Corner Theater. It's in
Oh.
Boston.
Which horror movie robot / animatronic do you want to kiss the most?
Wait, the Ex Machina robot.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Easy. Slam dunk answer.
What would the
That thing will
robot? What
murder
would the
you.
robot look like tuned to John's porn preferences? That's my question.
Oh God.
I mean,
Remember, that
Ex
was the whole
Machina
deal.
Lady is pretty close, I feel like.
That was the whole deal. He's like, you know what my porn preferences are, don't you?
Oh, I don't remember that.
Like,
yeah, definitely.
At some
I want
point,
that
he
one.
realizes that this thing was like intentionally designed to like entice him.
I need
Great
a minute,
movie.
guys.
Great movie.
When is your next trip to Disney? We are scheduled for July right now.
Are you going to go if you have a vaccine?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, Leslie actually got her first shot last week.
That's awesome.
And I am going to the doctor on Monday in the hopes that one of my many ailments will get me in.
If you just stop running for like a month, I feel like
Well,
you could get there.
That's not to get like too, but in Illinois now, it's if your BMI is over a certain amount, and like literally, I'm like teetering on. Like if I run one day, I'll be under it, and if I don't, the next, I'm over it.
Joe,
And so,
I think
like,
you can do this. If I'm being honest, like
Well, just
you
take,
gotta just dedicate
the-
yourself to it.
Take some of those things that make you retain water. Isn't there like there's definitely like you could look
Well,
this up.
I purposely set up my doctor's appointment on a Monday because the weekend I usually go pretty batshit. And then also
love
like
that.
it's the middle of winter here, so I'll be wearing like 14 pounds of clothing. So
That's a good.
I
Point.
think I think I can do it, guys.
I think you can too. I believe in you, Joe.
Yeah. Favorite beer from 21st Amendment?
Fireside chat, maybe? I don't know.
I do
there's
love
a
that.
ton.
I do love Fireside Chat.
Elisa turned me on to that Spark Ale, and I was a huge
yeah.
fan.
Yeah,
It does
that
not
was
taste
good.
like a beer at all, but it is amazing.
What does it taste
I mean,
like?
the Brew Free or Die, they're kind of like standard IPA.
Yeah.
Is a very solid IPA. So.
Yeah, yeah. My thoughts and prayers if you think about watching the new Wrong Turn movie.
I didn't realize that. Maybe we talked about it at some point. I didn't realize it was coming out, and I was kind of interested to watch it because I like the original, but no.
Yeah. Joe's favorite Mike Patton project. Faith No More would be my favorite. Does anybody else listen?
What are
to
other Mike Patton projects?
Mr.
Mr.
Bungle,
Oh, okay.
Faith No More, Phantomus, a bunch of stuff.
Phantomus was pretty cool, but I'd have to go with Faith No More, too.
Yep. He's a good guy. Mr. Bungle, I'm a big fan. So another Real Housewives one. When Mary told Jen she smelled like hospital, was it more like Halloween 2 or 28 Days Later?
I don't get this. Is this about like a housewives thing or something, Joe?
Yeah, this woman told this other housewife that she didn't want to hug her because she smelled like a hospital.
Wow.
And then like
Harsh.
But the woman just came from the hospital where I think her grandmother had died or
Oh
something.
God.
Oh,
Somebody, a close relative. It may have been her father, actually.
Not cool, dude.
In any case, it was not very sensitive. Have you all seen anything below tier 3 on you/Nice Guy Phil's disturbing movie iceberg? I understood none of this question. I don't know if any of you know what is going on here.
Not a word.
I'd say I do.
What's it called? Nice guy.
Nice
Phil?
Guy Phil's disturbing movie iceberg.
Phil.
I can only assume it's some YouTube thing.
It's a Reddit. No, there's a Reddit.
I don't know. You do some research here, John, because we got a bunch more. Zombie, Zombie 2, or Zombie Flesh Eaters?
Zombie 2.
Well, he wrote back in because I said Zombie 2 is the only one I've seen, and apparently these are all the same movie.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's got 12 titles, depending on where it was released.
Jokes are lost on us. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Will you review The Vigil?
I don't know, dude.
I said no.
It sounds depressing.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It sounds like
do
one of
you
those. It
think-
sounds like one of those movies Schnars would want me to review in 2020.
Do you think The Creature from the Black Lagoon is a good movie?
Yes.
I've never seen it.
I think it's a great movie.
It's a classic.
Yeah. Well, it probably my favorite of like the Universal monsters. I love The Creature from the
I do
Black
not
Lagoon.
really have any good like knowledge of a lot of those movies, like coverage of having seen them.
I actually haven't seen I've seen a bunch of them, but I have not seen Creature in the
I
Black
think it's the
Lagoon.
best. And I
Yeah.
told the
I
story
think
before.
That's the
but
only one I have seen.
I've told this story before. There was a local station where I grew up that showed movies. I think it was every Friday or Saturday night or something. And you could actually go to the grocery store and get 3D glasses, and they would show it in 3D. And like I distinctly like one of the first horror movies I remember watching was Creature from the Black Lagoon in 3D.
Nice.
On
That's pretty
TV.
cool.
Yeah. Who on the team has kids and how old? It sounds like you're a mix of families and singles.
All of us.
We
All
all
of
have
us
kids
have
now,
kids
yeah.
now, yeah.
Mine are 2 and 4.
I have
Yeah,
a 2
I
and a
have a-
9-year-old.
3-month-old.
I have a 7-year-old as of today.
What?
John, we don't have a half an hour for you to list all your kids.
And then I have a 4 and a 2-year-old, yeah.
Mine turns 21 in a couple months.
What?
That is
Really?
bananas, Casey.
21?
I know.
That's
What?
crazy, dude.
You're just taking her to the bar. Just going
But if we can.
21 shots.
I mean, so when we started this show, if I could do math, I could tell you how old she was, but it was younger than 10, certainly.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Yeah, the
crazy.
first time you guys met her, she was like super tiny.
It's been like 13 years, so someone else who's not a communications major do that math quick.
Which flick is the worst sequel in any horror franchise, and why is it Texas Chainsaw 3D?
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen that one.
I went. I think we did see Texas Chainsaw 3D for the show, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Did we?
But like, that's not even the worst Texas Chainsaw
No, that
sequel, in my opinion.
3 or 4 or whatever it was with
McConaughey.
yeah, and
That
Renee
was the
Zell-
fourth
Zellweger.
one, I believe. That's the next generation.
Yeah, but all
The-
those old ones just become kitschy for me at some point. So it's like I can enjoy them.
The Conjuring 2 was probably the biggest letdown
No,
I've ever had.
John, Last Exorcism 2, the one that's set in New Orleans.
That is
Well.
definitely in the top 5
Yeah.
of worst ever. That movie, it's unbelievable how bad that was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we're almost done here. Does John need a drug rug to complete his Maryland look?
This was sent to me by a couple
Yeah,
people.
did I
actually.
see, Joe, you actually ordered John one?
No, it was.
That
it's
was
odd.
what he bought for himself. I
I use Time Hop just to kind of keep up to date on what I've done in the past. And this question came in on like the 3-year anniversary of when mine was shipped.
Whoa, that's
Which I thought was
spooky,
funny.
dude.
Yeah.
Synchronicities, man. I think it means John needs to buy one.
All right, 2 more, but they tie together. My testicles are aching. The doctor says it's stress. Can you give me a second opinion?
Oof, I've never heard of that.
and the
Sounds
follow-up
concerning.
is not a question. I'm just really concerned about that other guy's testicles.
Jeez.
Just be careful, dude. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
maybe lay off them. I mean, we're all home. We've all got a lot of time on our hands, but
They need to rest.
take a
Yeah.
couple days off, Stop using your body as an amusement park if you need to.
Get a vajankle.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Oh God. Ooh.
Yeah.
You know what's the worst too is no one else has been typing in chat. So when I go to start this show next week, I'm gonna click on that. And it's gonna pop back up.
I sent it to Kyle, and he came out of the bedroom and was like, "Why?"
It's the worst. I don't know how else to describe it. It haunts
Oddly
me.
enough, when I started my computer today and was trying to copy and paste the notes to make a new line in our doc, the paste just put overkink.com for some reason. It didn't pick up anything else. That's it for all our questions.
Wow, good round of questions.
Thanks.
You can send those on Instagram. You can send them on Twitter with the hashtag AskBGH or info@bloodygoodhorror.com. The book club now moved to Reddit. Just go to our BGH book club and Patreon. If you want to help support the show, get back episodes, get access to our amazing Slack community that's grown exponentially since the pandemic started, which has been kind of a silver lining, John. In the world's
It's something
woes.
to keep us going.
That's true. Patreon.com/bloodygoodohorror. Also, like Joe's on all the social media things. So like Cameo, TikTok. What are you
TikTok
doing on
is
TikTok? Like that? I don't understand. I don't get what you're doing on there.
I literally just started doing like I do on Instagram, where just asking people to post questions in the comments, and then I make stupid answers. It's not taken off that well.
Can
I'll be
you
honest,
start
but,
doing like what the kids do? Can you like find audio you like and then like lip sync to it and like do a thing?
I honestly don't think I'm that coordinated. I found one where I put the theme from The Office over my voice, and it was so loud, and I didn't didn't know how to like change. It's not going great. It'll probably last for like maybe another week. So
is this gonna go the way of BGH Snapchat?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
There's a good chance.
I like it. All right, guys, that's gonna do it. March. It's been a year. Well, next week we discussed, Joe. Will be. Is right around the anniversary of that discussion we had where we're like, should we not be going to the movie theater?
To the day.
Yeah.
It happened on next Wednesday. If we record on Wednesday, which we probably will, it'll be the exact day 1 year that
Wow.
We made it, guys.
Yeah.
Did we?
So I'm getting this goddamn J&J shot soon, I hope.
I was gonna say, I please something.
Yeah.
I'm trying to bulk up. I'm trying.
Dude, it would be.
If
someone
anyone
should write a movie
has,
about that.
if anyone
Like,
has bulking up
it would
tips
take
for
me a while.
Joe, hit him up on Instagram.
I mean, the thing is too, like apparently they're not really checking. Like you get there and because it's all privately owned places, right? Like so Walgreens and stuff you can get it at. But I stress in my head so much, and I would feel like such a dirtbag
know,
going
Joe,
there
you're
if
so-
I didn't technically qualify.
You're so moral, Joe. I get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, I picture like this vet in the parking lot who, like, oh, I can't get mine because he got his.
It reminds me of that Simpsons episode where Homer tries to gain a bunch of weight just so he can go on disability. So he has to try to find
Yeah.
the foods that will make him gain the most weight.
You know, what is the if you rub the food on a bag and you see through it,
Yes,
you're
that's how
on
you
your
know.
way.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he takes the chicken, he rubs it on the wall, and then he can see outside. Yeah. Simpsons, I've seen it. A couple episodes. All right, that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the show. We'll talk to you next week.
See you.
Bye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.